the front of the audience here. You know, a lot of dogs actually wouldn't tolerate this. And let's just see how she is. Just pet her down her back, down her legs. And you can see she's sort of doing this, right? So we know that she's got some knee issues. So that knees are right here on the doggies. And so I noticed that her stance, she's got her back up just a little bit when she stands. And I was watching her walk a little bit before, and I could see that she's just a little stiff. She's not fully articulating in all of her joints very easily. So notice that she's actually standing about 3 or 4 inches away from Stephanie right now. She's not clinging, right? And she's looking out. She's a little bit more curious. So I point those things out because we don't always notice some of the subtle changes, right? And those subtle changes are how we educate our downline, we educate other people, and we educate and inform ourselves about, oh, you know, there really is something happening here. Because sometimes these changes are actually subtle. They're not like blatant, obvious, like she's, you know, running and doing somersaults.
Looks like she's smiling now.
It's like, hey.
She's like, hey, rub me some more.
Now, when we talk about the way that Stephanie's petting, and she's a groomer, and so it's not surprising that she's doing what she's doing, but it's also really, really awesome because one of the things I talk about in T-Talented T-Touch is what we call nose march. And I'm going to lead you through an experiential so you get an experience of what this is like yourselves in a little bit. And it is stroking, not just petting, right? How many of us just love to pet dogs, cats, you know, head and neck, or they don't want you to pet them back here, right? Right? There's reasons for that. Right? And when we do that stroking, we stroke the ears, and we stroke down their body, stroke the length of their back, right? Think about all the whole central nervous system, all the nerves go down through the spine, and all the nerves go out, and work with all of the muscles and all of the organs in the whole system, right? So just by stroking, you're helping to open that up, and you're saying to the system, here, taking off this beautiful batter, right? And you're opening that system, and by stroking all the way down to the toes, to the paws, if your dog or cat allows you to do that, you're also saying, hey, you can come all the way down into your feet too. And it's connected from your head, that's connected through your back, that's connected all the way down through your legs. So focus, coordination, so you're combining with that one simple, with a petting, and those strokes, and Valerie, you're combining 3 super, super simple things together that can make a huge difference. So, let's show a little bit of how we can do a spritzer. Now, the spritzers that I would probably tend to use with her are being passed around, but that's okay. So I use these a lot with the animals and in the house, right? With, I love thieves, right? It smells great, it's fresh, but it also has all those great properties that are balancing and supportive of the immune system. And when I do spritzers with animals, I don't go like that. Because I don't think that it's a pleasant experience if I'm going to spritz right on their body, okay? If you think about spritzing for yourself, are you going to, well, you might, but you might not just go right, they're like way more sensitive. It feels a little funny. I might, and it's strong. Strong. So for the animals, especially because these has closed hot and cinnamon, which tend to be hot and can be a little bit agitating to the respiratory tract, I'm going to spritz them above, like I would spritz the knee maybe here, and so it's literally like a light mist that comes down, okay? And I'm not using thieves at this moment for a particular reason to like fix anything with this dog. This is just I want to do a demo, but you never know when you use an oil what's going to happen and how it might be helpful. So I'm going to do this. somebody else's animal, right? Like I'm thinking your downline, is you never know how an animal's going to be, right? So I let somebody who this dog knows first do the introductions. And now that I see that Susie's more comfortable, I can put my hand on her. Before she was just sort of like, oh, yeah, I'm not so sure. One of my favorite ways, I've got a little raindrop. So I put together a mix of raindrop essential oils. 4 drops of oregano, thyme, marjoram, basil, wintergreen, peppermint, all the oils in the raindrop kit together, and I mix it in a empty 15 milliliter bottle, and I fill the rest with V6, which is Young Living's pure vegetable mix oil. And so then I can take a couple of drops and do this petting method. You can see when you get back here, and I can work it in a little bit. You see how her back is a little flatter? It's not roached as much. And I can do a little bit of T-touch. It's still on my palm, and she's a little bit less comfortable here. So I slowed my touch down, and I'm breathing. And I would do that. So it's a blend, right? Diluted, and then I can put it down along her knee areas, which is on the right side, a little bit warm, and go all the way down to her toes, where she's now tolerating more. And because there's going to be a lot of compensation up in her front end, you know, like putting more weight in her front end, because she's not able to use her knees as much, I want to make sure I get her shoulders. And her right shoulder, the muscles on her right shoulder are tighter than her left. So there's often a diagonal compensation. It's just things that I notice. And those muscles, just by doing this tiny little bit, are softening. I bet you all feel that, but that'd be a little bit much for little Susie. And I also, and you see how she keeps shifting her weight? That's also balance. For somebody who's got iffy knees, it's hard to stand still. It's a big deal that she's doing this. She's mega polite and mega cooperative, and we really appreciate that. You sound good.
It's a good girl.
And so I want to also make sure, right at the base of the skull.
Ooh, that is so good.
I like that.
So that's the same raindrop blend. Now, her muscles right up here, when I first put my hand on it, even after having done all of that, was pretty tight. And you can see her posture, and this is true for a lot of dogs, cats. Notice their posture. If they're high-headed, the tendency is going to be for higher level of alert. If that's happening, there's also going to be a higher level of tension in the muscles and more constriction. I don't know why I'm looking over my glasses, they're just supposed to see through this glasses. So those muscles will be more contracted, which is when you feel more tension in the muscles, right? And so I didn't have to do a massage, did I? No, it was really simple, and that little bit took less than 5 minutes. And I'm, doing a lot of pauses in between, partly because I think that it's really, really helpful for the animals as well as our system to really register and let that information start moving through the system and get that feedback. Thank you so much, Susan. So many people to learn. times a week and see how she does. I put her on gingerbread juice because of all those great ingredients that, you know, Donna and everybody was talking about earlier, because it gives like this incredible boost to the system, to the health of the tone and muscles, right? To all of the organs. I might use a little bit of BLM and sulfurzyme, right? Sulfurzyme helps to balance the ratio of water on the inside and outside of the cells, right? So when there's, to help facilitate comfort levels. See you doing all these translations. Thank you so much. And like, I just want to try that. So, Stressway is like another favorite.
Oh, my God.
Right? Or actually, you know, I should use all of these as common sense words. So Stressway, let's just see, right? I took a drop. Stressway comes out really, really fast. Let's just put it right. This is one of my favorite places to put for calming. Right at the base of the skull, right? You feel where the skull is, and then you feel where it goes soft into the neck. That was interesting, wasn't it? What did you notice? Anybody notice anything when I put that on? Yeah. What? Her head went down a little bit. And that's like no pressure. You see, like, this is the amount of pressure. Now, the other thing is, may I put a little bit of oil on you? Sure. So if we're using oils on our animals, I know Nancy was talking about this before, I recommend us using the oils, right? If you're using your oils on your animals, use the oils for yourself. So I just put a little bit of Stressway right at the base of her skull, right? She's so patiently waiting outside for really, really, really long time. I really appreciate that. And we could put like, let me put a little bit more Stressway down, a little bit lower on her